we get to the last part, 10 part 2. You might not be able to read it very easily here, but hopefully you've got access online to the question. And it says, determine the position vector of A such that the triangle ABC has a minimum area. So let's remind ourselves, we've got an isosceles triangle. Here we have A, there's B, and there's C. We know it's isosceles. And we want the minimum area. So we need the perpendicular height, which is this height here. We need that. And because it's an isosceles, we know that this is going to be the midpoint. Let's call it D. Okay. So let's find our D vector. Okay. And let's just say AD. Well, what do I know about AD? First of all, I know that it's going to be halfway between these two. So let's put in this factor here and this position vector here, and I want it halfway, so that'd be 3, 3, 1. So that's our point there, and now I want AD. So AD is going to be 3 take away A, 3 take away B, 1 take away 0. So I've now got AD, vector AD. I want to find the minimum area. So to find the minimum area, which is really interesting, I need to be able to first of all work out what the general formula for a triangle is, and we know that's a half base times perpendicular height. I've got my base here and my perpendicular height, but for it to be smallest, that AD needs to be the smallest possible one. Now the problem I'm going to have here is I've got one equation, but I've got these two variables. Fortunately, I've got that there, so I can rearrange one of these in terms of the other variable. And if I write that out here, I've got A minus B plus 1 equals 0. So what I'm going to do is rearrange it. So let's just say A plus 1 equals B. So instead of 3 minus B, I'm going to write it in terms of all of A. So AD now equals 3 minus A. And now I'm going to B, A plus 1 is B. So if I put that into there, it's 3 minus A plus 1. So it's going to be 2 minus A. And that's 1 there. So I've now got that there. And let's work it out. The area. First of all, it's a half times the base. So that's going to be a square root of 4 take away 2, which is 2 squared, 2 take away 4 squared, and just sort that. Right, cat dealt with. Right, where were we? Okay, so I've done 2 take away 4 squared, 0 take away 2, so that's also 2 squared, and then square root of this one here. So it's going to be 3 minus A squared plus 2 minus A all squared plus 1 squared. So if I sort this out, that's a half. That's 4 plus 4 plus 4, it's root 12. Now this is going to be messy. So I need to multiply all this out. It's a lot of work for very little gain, but let's just do that, and let's make sure we don't make any simple silly errors, which are very easy to make. So you need to take your time here, because to look at your work and see if you've made any errors after you've done them is always a challenge. So you can double check, triple check, etc., but do be careful with that. Now I know that that is 4 root 3, so it's 2 root 3. 2 times a half is 1, so I know that's root 3. Now let's just tidy up inside here. 9 plus 4 plus 1 is 14. Minus 6 minus 4 is minus 10a. A squared plus a squared is 2a squared. Now I've got my variable a, which is going to determine the height there. So I want the smallest value of a. So this is a quadratic, and I want to do it by completing the square to get the smallest value. So what I do is take a factor of 2 out, because if you do completing the square, the coefficient of a should be 1. And I'm left with this, and what's the 7? Now, I don't really need to do too much, I just need to complete this bit here. So let's show you. So that's going to be a half that, so it's 2.5 squared, and then it's dot 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 dot, because that's what I'm looking for. I know the minimum value here, I'm not asked to actually what it is, but the minimum value here is when a is going to be 2.5, because that reduces to 0. So I know that when a is 2.5, it's the smallest value. Now, of course, I can add 1 to find the b, and then finally the 0, 1 there, because there is no movement along here, it's just a 0. Hopefully that's helped it for you, and yeah, happy days.